Hey everyone, I need to start this differently than I usually do because what I'm sensing right now isn't about someone else. It's not about what someone's thinking or feeling or hiding. It's not about what's coming or what's about to happen. It's about you and how you're actually doing under the surface that nobody sees. Welcome back. It's Anna. And I know the title says someone, but let me be direct that someone might be you. And if it is, I need you to know that I see it, that it's okay to admit it, that you're not weak for feeling this way because you are really hurt and you are emotionally and mentally exhausted. And you've been carrying it alone for so long that it's become your normal. Let me describe what I mean. You may wake up every day and put on the version of yourself that functions, that goes to work, that shows up for people, that responds to messages, that smiles when it's expected. Some people experience this as performing, like they're playing a role, like there's the person they show the world, and then there's the person they are at 3 a.m. when nobody's watching and the performance stops. It might feel like you're constantly holding something together that wants to fall apart, like you're one bad day away from just stopping, not in a dramatic way, just stopping, not being able to pretend anymore that you're fine. And the exhausting part, nobody knows. Nobody sees how hard you're working just to appear normal, how much energy it takes to keep the mask on, how close you are to just breaking. Let's pause here because this is important. This reflection invites you to consider, when was the last time someone asked how you were really doing and you told them the truth? Not the I'm fine or I'm hanging in there or you know how it is, but the actual truth. I'm not okay. I'm really struggling. I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. You may not even remember the last time you said that out loud, because you've become so good at hiding it. So practiced at minimizing your pain, so conditioned to believe that your struggles aren't worth burdening others with. It's possible you've convinced yourself that everyone has it hard, that your pain isn't special, that other people are dealing with worse, so you should just suck it up and keep going. But that's not strength. That's survival. And there's a difference. Some people survive for so long, they forget what it feels like to actually live. They're so focused on just getting through each day that they lose sight of what they're getting through each day for. You may be in that place right now where life feels like an endless series of obligations and responsibilities and expectations, where you can't remember the last time you felt joy that wasn't immediately followed by anxiety about when it would end. And the hurt isn't always from one big thing. Sometimes it's accumulation, 1,000 small disappointments, 1,000 moments of being let down, 1,000 times you needed something and didn't get it. It can feel like death by 1,000 paper cuts. No single thing is devastating, but all of it together, it's drowning you. This reflection invites you to consider, what's the one thing you're carrying that you wish someone would help you put down? There's something specific about emotional and mental exhaustion. It's possible you're tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. You could sleep for 12 hours and wake up just as drained, because the exhaustion isn't physical, it's in your soul. It's the exhaustion of caring too much while feeling like it doesn't matter, of trying so hard while watching everything still fall apart, of being strong for everyone else while feeling weak inside. It's the exhaustion of having to explain yourself, of setting the same boundaries over and over, of being disappointed by the same people in the same ways, of hoping things will change and watching them stay exactly the same. Some people are exhausted from overthinking, from replaying conversations, from catastrophizing about the future, from carrying anxiety like a backpack full of rocks they can't put down. You may be exhausted from pretending, from code switching, depending on who you're around, from managing other people's emotions, from being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who has it together, but you don't have it together. You're barely holding it together. And the effort of maintaining that illusion is killing you slowly. It can feel like you're screaming inside while smiling on the outside, like you're begging for help while saying you're fine, like you're falling apart while everyone around you thinks you're solid. This reflection invites you to consider what would happen if you stop pretending for just one day. Let me talk about where the hurt is coming from. It's possible the hurt is from betrayal. Someone you trusted broke that trust. Someone you loved hurt you. Someone you counted on let you down in a way you can't forgive or forget. Or the hurt is from loss. You lost someone, something, a relationship, a dream, a version of yourself. And the grief is still so present that some days you can barely breathe around it. Maybe the hurt is from loneliness, not the kind where you're physically alone, but the kind where you're surrounded by people and still feel completely isolated, where nobody really knows you, nobody really sees you, nobody really gets it. Some people are hurt because they've been fighting so hard for so long and they're tired of fighting to be seen, to be heard, to matter, to be treated with basic dignity and respect. You may be hurt because you gave so much and got so little back, because you showed up for people who didn't show up for you, because you loved people who took that love for granted. Or maybe you're hurt because you've hurt yourself. You made choices you regret. You stayed too long in situations you should have left. You accepted treatment you should have refused. And now you're carrying shame and regret that feels unbearable. It can feel like the hurt has so many layers, you don't even know where to start untangling it. Like if you pulled on one thread, everything would unravel and you'd fall apart completely. This reflection invites you to consider, if you could heal one thing, what would ease your pain the most? There's something about the mental exhaustion specifically. It's possible your mind never stops. It's constantly analyzing, planning, worrying, preparing for worst case scenarios, running through conversations that haven't happened yet, replaying conversations that already did. You can't turn it off. You can't quiet it. You can't rest, even when your body is still, because your mind is racing. And that constant mental activity, it's draining you, using up energy you don't have, making it impossible to be present because you're always somewhere else in your head. Some people describe this as feeling like their brain is a browser with 47 tabs open and everything is buffering. Nothing loads completely, nothing gets full attention, everything is just overwhelming. You may go to bed exhausted and lie there for hours unable to sleep because your mind won't let you. It keeps presenting problems, creating scenarios, finding things to worry about. And in the morning, you wake up tired, already behind, already overwhelmed before the day even starts. It can feel like you're running a marathon in your mind every single day, and nobody sees it, nobody knows, because on the outside, you're just sitting there, working, existing. This reflection invites you to consider, when was the last time your mind was quiet, when you felt actual peace? Let me slow down and talk about what you might need. It's possible you need rest, real rest, not just sleep, but rest from responsibility, from performance, from being needed, from having to be on all the time. You need permission to stop, to not be productive, to not be available, to just exist without purpose or output or value to others. Some people have forgotten how to rest because they've been in survival mode so long that stopping feels dangerous. Like if they stop moving, everything will fall apart. But what if everything's already falling apart? What if the constant motion is just making you too dizzy to see it clearly? You may need to admit you can't do this alone anymore, that you need help, that you need support, that you need someone to step in and carry some of what you've been carrying by yourself. And asking for that help, that feels impossible because you're the helper. You're the strong one. You're the one people come to. How can you admit you're the one who needs help? But you do need help desperately. And there's no shame in that. There's only shame in suffering alone when you don't have to. It can feel vulnerable to admit you're not okay, like you're exposing weakness, like people will see you differently, like you'll lose whatever status or respect you've built by being the together one, but you're not together. And pretending you are is making everything worse. This reflection invites you to consider what's keeping you from asking for help. Pride? Fear? Not wanting to burden others? There's something about healing that I need to address. It's possible you think healing means being fixed, being back to normal, being who you were before the hurt happened. But healing doesn't work like that. You don't go backwards. You don't undo. You integrate. You grow around the pain. You learn to carry it differently. And that process, it's not linear. It's not quick. It's messy and slow and frustrating. And some days you feel worse than you did before you started. Some people avoid starting to heal because they're afraid of the process, afraid of what they'll find when they really look at their pain, afraid they'll fall apart and not be able to put themselves back together. You may be so close to the edge that the idea of actually processing your emotions feels dangerous. Like if you start crying, you'll never stop. Like if you admit how bad it is, it'll become real in a way you can't handle. But it's already real. Denying it isn't protecting you. It's just delaying the inevitable while making you sicker in the meantime. Because unprocessed pain doesn't disappear. It doesn't fade on its own. It just burrows deeper, shows up in your body, in your relationships, in your decisions. It can feel safer to stay numb than to feel everything. But numbness isn't peace. It's just postponed pain. This reflection invites you to consider, what would it take for you to start the actual healing process instead of just surviving? Let me talk about what you deserve. It's possible you've forgotten that you deserve to feel okay, that you deserve to not be in constant pain, that you deserve support and compassion and gentleness. You've been in pain so long, you think it's just your baseline now. Like this is just how life is for you. Like everyone else gets to feel peace, and you're just the one who has to endure. But that's not true. You're not meant to suffer endlessly. You're not being tested. You're not being taught a lesson. You're just hurting. And that hurt deserves care. Some people think they don't deserve help until they've earned it somehow, until they're struggling enough, until they've tried everything else, until it's bad enough to qualify. You may be waiting for permission that nobody's going to give you, waiting for it to get worse before you allow yourself to get help, waiting for some external validation that your pain matters. But your pain matters now, at this level, exactly as it is. You don't need to suffer more to deserve support. You don't need to prove your exhaustion is legitimate. You don't need to compare your struggles to others. You don't need to minimize what you're going through to make other people comfortable. You remain in complete control of what you do with this. You can keep pushing through. You can ask for help. You can take a break. You can make changes. But whatever you do, please don't keep pretending you're fine when you're not. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has made you feel seen in a way that hurts. Like someone finally naming what you've been carrying makes it more real, more present. Whatever you're feeling, it's valid. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But please, consider that maybe you're the someone this message is for. Before we close, I want to ask you something. What's one thing you could do this week to take care of yourself? Not for anyone else, just for you. Drop it in the comments if you want. And this, if you could tell someone the truth about how you're doing, what would you say? Someone is really hurt and emotionally and mentally exhausted is less than has hone. 0 hash is greater than. And if that someone is you, I need you to know something. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're not failing. You're not broken beyond repair. You're just human. And you've been carrying too much for too long. And it's okay to put it down, to ask for help, to admit you can't do this alone, to stop performing and just be honest about where you are. Not eventually, right now, today. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you deserve care, that your pain is real, that asking for help is strength, not weakness. I'll see you in the next one. And listen, you don't have to keep being strong. You're allowed to fall apart. You're allowed to need people. You're allowed to not be okay. Start there. Healing follows honesty.